Welcome to my 2020 bullet journal setup. This month I will be creating a Loteria theme. And if you don't know what Loteria is, you've been living under a rock. No, I'm kidding. Loteria is a Mexican or Latin American bingo game, depending on where you're from. The Loteria game is available in most Latin American countries, and it is played much like bingo. It is not Santeria, it is not tarot. It is a friendly game, sometimes friendly game. It is a game of chance, much like life. All right, so the first part here, I have printed up some stickers of the Loteria, the traditional Loteria cards. I freehand sketched this part of one of the traditional cards, the card number 27, which I don't have in my deck for some reason. I'm missing my heart, ironically. And I'm going to fine line it. Yes, my heart is gone. Anyways. I'm going to fine line it with a Micron Sakura pen. I don't know which one I grabbed, but as soon as I find out which one it is, I'll put it in the description below. Then I realized I didn't want it so thick, so I used a finer pen. So it's probably the 0.05 now. And I traced along all along the lines of the heart to give it detail, so when I watercolor it, lines will be visible. Then with my Grumbacher cadmium hue medium watercolor, I poured some onto my paint palette here from my Winsor and Newton paint palette, diluted it just a little bit. I like using tube paint because it had rich pigment. Then I'm erasing all the pencil marks. Then I am painting the heart, outlining it first with the red. I'm going to go in layers with this color to give some of the areas give it some darker shade. There's a car coming. So I'm going to go around the edges and just keep going in layers. This black right here, I'm going to blend in. Don't worry, it will be blended in. Yeah, that's right. Blended in. Then I'm adding some yellow on the tips there, and then eventually I'm going to blend it into the red, give it an ombre look on the way to the top. And I'm going to continue to add layers of red. This is rather enjoyable. I enjoy watercoloring, and I like adding the layers and layers of color. It gives it more depth. Here's where I added a bunch of black. Don't worry, I will blend it in. It'll work itself out because it looks like a lot of black there, but in this area of the painting, it has a lot of shade there. And if you notice that the arrow here, the top part of the arrow is yellow and the bottom part of the arrow is red, it's because it's gone through the heart. So the arrow was once yellow, theoretically. As it exited out the heart, it turned red. Here I'm going to do the wet on wet method to create the background of the card. And the card is green in the background. I left the number 27 in pencil mark there to remind me where the 27 goes. And here I am, carefully going around the heart. There'll be no cars coming. Going around the arrow, giving it a little more detail around the edges. What'd you do? Once it dried a little bit, I added the 27. I'm carefully trying to remove, a lot of carefully here, trying to remove the tape, cutting out the Loteria card. Loteria cards usually have a 16 square area. Is it 16? Yeah, 16 square area. So I printed one up to kind of represent my Loteria card. So you can't find this one in the card game. Maybe, who knows. And then I'm creating the background in blue. Most of the Loteria cards backgrounds are blue or in yellow. And here I am with my Copic multiliner 0.03, writing the numbers down for my monthly log. I first wrote out all the days of the week, the numbers of the days of the week with the Copic. And then I'm going to go back later and paint over it. I use Copic because it doesn't bleed when you're using a wet or saturated medium to go over it. And for the days of the week, I decided to make them in the style of the Loteria card with the number on the top right side. These are sideways. The names of the days of the week will be on the bottom, kind of like the names of the cards. Once I have all of these written out, I will paint over them with watercolor.
Go block the street.
You're gonna go block the street? Look at all these cars. Stop! My mom's taping. And this is my trusty Westcott 6-inch metal corkback ruler, which I will be using to create all the small lines here. Because at the time I couldn't find my favorite acrylic ruler. The one my cat sat on. That's probably under my cat. And this edge is a little tricky, but I still managed to get it. Monthly calendar on one page because I'm trying not to use up too many pages on my bullet journal since there's not so much going on in my life at the time due to the pandemic, so I don't want to take up too much space in my journal. I want to be able to continue creating the rest of the year in one journal. And with my Dr. P.H. Martin white ink, I go over my mistakes there because I realize I don't know my days of the week. Then I fix it. And here I kind of write out August. And after I did this, I kind of realized I should have put August on the bottom and then the number of the month on the top, kind of like the Loteria card, how it has the number on the top left of the card and then the name at the bottom of the card. So if I ever do this again, I will create the name of the month at the bottom. And the font that's kind of used for the Loteria card is kind of like a Helvetica, not quite Arial font. I try to incorporate that through the whole bullet journal as well as the descriptions in my video. I gave up doing the all caps because it looks like I'm shouting and people may not get that all of the words on the Loteria cards are all in caps. Now that this page is dry here, I'm going to add my card. I'm going to carefully take off my painter's tape. I ripped a little bit of the paper, but that's okay. Stuff happens. I left a little bit right there. I actually cut the paper. I add my Loteria card. I printed it on sticker paper just to remind you all. I took one corner off and then I carefully removed the back of the page, the sticker. Now I carefully laid the sticker down. That there was a couple of bubbles or some wrinkling, but that's okay. That happens. It was a large sticker, so it's kind of inevitable for it to happen. And then with my fountain pen, I removed the rest of the tape. I don't recommend you doing that. Kind of flipping through, making sure most of the pencil marks are gone so I can continue painting. And through the rest of the journal, I'm going to continue coloring the backgrounds in the traditional colors of the cards. I'm not fond of yellow, but I figured I might as well, since last month's theme was sunflowers and it was a lot of yellow. So I'm becoming accustomed to having yellow around. It's a very happy color, which I'm working on being happy. It's tough. Not that I'm not naturally a happy person. It's just this month is going to be a difficult month for me. This happens to be the anniversary month of my husband's death. Here I am painting each day of the week in a different color. I'm trying to go as random as possible. I am drawing out my activity tracker. I wrote out activity tracker and then I realized I did not like the way it looked. I put washi tape in between the sections there so it would be blank. So extra sticky paper, I covered up what I did. And my little slicer, my precision slicer, I cut the sticker paper off and then rewrote activity tracker in all caps. The washi tape does kind of help when you're creating a large sectioned activity tracker. That way it keeps you focused on where things are at so you don't run over lines and you don't have to go back and erase things. It happened. I really didn't feel like using a lot of white ink to fix my mistakes, so I just put the washi tape there to kind of remind me of where I need to stop. And then right here is going to be my bill log. It's not actually a tracker. It's more like this is my monthly spending here, what my bills are going to be. And I put down what bills they are, how much I owe, what is my balance. It's kind of a way to keep track of what's going out. And here is my gratitude journal. My gratitude line a day. I made them thick, so in case I wanted to write 2 lines per day, I could. And now it's time for the flip through. This is last month's journal. On Facebook, I asked my friends what I should do, and a lot of them unanimously said Loteria. And here's what I created. I cut out extra stickers and randomly placed them in the journal. I didn't want to draw each individual card out. That would be a lot of work. I figured just having the cards there would be enough. The cards don't typically have like an orange or a red background, but I figured I might as well since I had it out. I created an ombre effect on this one page here and then added a bunch of random cards. My activity tracker, I like the way it turned out. And my monthly bill chart, I like the way that looked too, as well as the ombre look for the gratitude journal. And this is what they typically look like in the background of the cards. And there is a copy of the heart card. And now here is the story of us, my husband and I. One day, there was a woman who was married to a very bad man. And she had a great friend. And he had a wife that left him. Time went on, and he gave her a hand when her husband was leaving. Many moons passed. And they found out they were a great pair. And one evening, their love blossomed. They got a home and raised some chickens. Had a garden. They had their ups. They had their downs. Their love grew. And then the world became too much for him. He became unhealthy. And he died. And now my heart is missing. This month's journal is dedicated to my husband, Jason Rickett. Forever in my heart, hon. I love you.